The Super Lap Battle went down the weekend of February 15, 2020. The premier time attack event of North America marked its second annual race at COTA and brought with it the Grid Life Touring Cup. And while looking back at this event, it's worth noting that COVID-19, the coronavirus, has spread like wildfire, taking its toll not only on time attack schedules but the entire world of motorsport. In response to the pandemic, Circuit of the Americas staff have decided to close its doors indefinitely. We at Time Attack News ask that everyone follow health official guidelines and help save lives. Let's all do our best and hopefully get back to chasing perfect laps. World Time Attack team Elusive Racing made their way to US shores to join in on what would be the most competitive class of the weekend. Australian racers weren't the only thing new at Super Lap this year. 2020 saw a Yokohama Spec Tire program take place. The track had just recently gotten repaved in its prep for Formula One, and this group of time attackers would be amongst the first to lay down some rubber.
Hi, I'm Will L. Young. I'm here at Super Lap Battle 2020 at Circuit of the Americas. We brought along our Vibrant Performance PZ Tuning Time Attack RSX, and this weekend we're actually competing in the limited class, and it's been pretty exciting. Like, we have Corvettes, Integras, Subarus, tons of cars in this class. It's one of the most stacked classes out there, so we're looking forward to giving our best and giving these guys a run for their money. Coming to COTA, this is our first time at COTA, so it's been quite a learning experience. Being America's only F1 track, it's a very demanding circuit. There's a lot of corners, a lot of linking corners. The S's are really hard, carousel. This car is our B car, so we've been had it put away for a good year and a half, and we've just been working hard on it the past few weeks, getting it ready for this event. We've done some aero mods, we've been doing some on-track tuning, trying to get all the bugs worked out of it, and so far so good. We've been making improvements and making headway in the actual development of this car.
LYFE Motorsport was back to defend their title after their overall win at the very first Super Lap Battle COTA. Famous for having the fastest R35 GTR in the world, they set a benchmark of 207 around the F1 circuit in 2019.
I'm Cole Pallison, driver of the LYFE Motorsport R35 GTR. Out here the first day of the Super Lap Battle 2020 here at COTA, and we had a bit of a rough first session. The very first flyer we tried to put down, the drive shaft let go about 3/4 of the way through that lap, leaving the car useless. Pulled off to the side and been repairing it ever since. On top of the drive shaft breaking, we found another small wiring issue. Doesn't seem to be related, but decided to fix it nonetheless. And we're excited to hit the final session of the day. The car felt good and just had 3/4 of a lap, so I want to go out and put us at the top of the time charts of the day.
The LYFE team weren't the only ones facing issues early in the weekend. Elusive Racing lost 4th gear on their 3rd lap out and suffered a split gearbox case. The Australian team hustled around the clock to get back on track and show what they can do.
Hey, this is Ryan with Goodwin Racing. We brought our NC out to Super Lap Battle USA 2020, and we're having a great time in street class. First session of the day, we lost the clutch. That seized, took out the transmission, and so we jumped on it. We ripped the transmission out, got the clutch replaced, got our spare transmission in the car, and we only lost one session. We went out in the 3rd session, low boost to try to conserve that trans, and still matched our morning time when we had been on high boost. And then went out 4th session after making some changes, cut 5 more seconds off. So we're sitting at a 2:33, and that's pretty quick for this car, but that's not enough. We're building some extra aero to get a little more front end bite, making some setup changes, and we're gonna go for more tomorrow.
Cody Miles, driving number 626 Airlift Performance Subaru STI. Out here at Super Lap Battle 2020. Everything's going great for today. Haven't had to turn hardly any wrenches. everything's holding together solid. So we got a little bit of a different plan going into tomorrow, make a couple adjustments, but everybody else is working on their cars and this thing's solid. We've got a couple seconds to drop to get down to that podium, to get into that first place range. So that's what we're gonna try to do heading into tomorrow.
Day 2 saw a much better start than Saturday. Track conditions were looking ideal, which was exactly what Jackie Ding needed after his team's Day 1 times were disqualified. A protest over their splitters end plates meant they'd have to start from scratch after shaving it down in compliance for street class. Meanwhile, at the GridLife Touring Cup, Time Attack veteran James Houghton was dominating in his newly built TSX. Delays on his limited class Integra Type R meant we'll have to wait until the next Time Attack to see the car's updates.
So day 2 here at Circuit of the Americas. The boys worked flat out last night, but just couldn't get the gearbox in time to make it out for the last session. So what we've done is we spent the extra time last night to make sure the car was perfect for day 2. The good thing about it, we went out this morning for the first session on day 2 and put in some laps and got to show everyone what the Integra can do. So we're still currently sitting P7. We've done our 3 sessions. We got 1 more to go today. The guys on the laptops and all the crew have been working flat out to make sure the car's in as best position as it can, best condition it can be, to give it our last little crack at trying to get in the shootout. So we're going to wind up the power a little bit and see what happens. It's a completely stock gearbox, not even an LSD. So we're going to see what happens. Hopefully we're not spraying gearbox parts all over the racetrack, because it is an amazing facility. So we'll give it our all. Hopefully we can jump into that shootout and then have some fun, and hopefully we can represent Australia as best as possible, and do the same as we did in 2018 in the shootout and take out the win. So we've got about half an hour now until we get into the car and head on out for our last session. So we'll give it our all, and we'll full send it for us.
Ferris Kartoumi here, driver of the 72 Corvette in limited class. We're hoping to follow up our win from last year for the class. We started out the weekend overheating, and we've kind of just been doing that all weekend. Seemed to have blown a head gasket or something, but we're chasing it and just able to do 1 lap at a time. A little bit about the car. It's a 7.7 liter 468, puts down 600 horsepower to the tire, 600 foot-pounds of torque. We are running the spec tire, a 315 AO52 on the front and a 285 on the rear. New for the car, we have a PPG sequential. It's a 1-to-1 6th gear. It allows me to get to max mile per hour extremely fast. So before, when we were on the 315 squared, I was kind of maxing out at 145, like a quarter of the way into the back straight. And now with these 285s, I have a taller tire, so I can actually get to 165 on the back straight now. This year's pretty tough. We have the Elusive team here from Australia, who is an extremely fast team. We have Will Ayon, who is world renowned. He has track records kind of everywhere. We have all the heavy hitters from last year, some big horsepower cars as well, pro driver Scott Delahite. So it's pretty tough competition here. Hopefully we can walk away with a win.
The LYFE team were still working through issues and hadn't put down a solid time yet. This meant Ryan and his Porsche GT3 led the unlimited class with Chris Ingle and SECA Time Trial Nationals winner right behind him. In enthusiast class, last year's winner Zachary Sober returned and fought it out with Jensen Little for the top spot. This STI versus Evo showdown ended with just a few tenths separating the two from first. The Super Lap Battle Shootout was all about the top cars from each class getting one more chance to put down a perfect lap. Racers get one out lap, hot lap, and cool down lap to finish the weekend. While some came close to besting their fastest times, earlier sessions seemed to have struck the most luck as unofficial times became Super Lap history.
Hi, I'm Barton Moore. I've come all the way from Australia. I'm the reigning world time attack champion of the last 2 years in the famous Porsche RP968. So last year, a lot of the Americans come over, got to have a visit. We showed them around, they got to see the world time attack themselves, and they put an invite out. And they said, hey Bart, would you like to come over and join us in Super Lap Battle? So luckily, the guys at LYFE Motorsport said, we got a car, we got the Nissan 350Z, which is very different to what I'm used to back at the World Time Attack Challenge. But it gave me an opportunity to come here, see Super Battle in the flesh, learn the event, see what it's about, and maybe one day we can hope to get the Porsche RP968 out here to Super Lap Battle. I had a bit of an impression of what the circuit would be like, and driving it, I didn't feel too overwhelmed, but I must admit it took me a long time to maximize the circuit and feel like I was getting the most out of the car. So every session I was going faster and faster, and we weren't touching the car. So right up to the last session I was getting faster in myself. So I think that shows that there's a lot to this circuit. It's so long, so many corners, 21 odd corners, and I think this is really good preparation for me if I could come back in the future to know the circuit and understand that and really be able to propel myself up the order.